Hi everyone! Excuse the tilt of my phone here. I had to prop it up on a chair today. So today, and also excuse the chickens, of course, as always. Today I want to talk about cycles. I'm on my moon time right now, so it's bringing me a lot closer to Mother and having to concede to my own cycles, of course. But also with all the men that watch me too, this is going to be about you too. Men go through cycles as well. So with cycles, it's very much associated with the moon, of course, but also we can associate it with Mother, so Pachamama or Gaia or Mother Earth or whatever you want to call her. And she's really what I want to talk about today. So when you think about the planet, it is this beautiful green and brown and blue body that floats through the cosmos at this beautiful cyclic 365 days around the sun, through the universe, through our galaxy, through all of it. And if you look at the mystery school teachings, or even if you're a wannabe astrologer or amateur astrologer, you know that the planets around us are planetary bodies, and they represent archetypal forms, just like our mother does, our planet does. So by this, she is the mother of the animal people, the human people, the tree people, the mineral people here, and everything comes from her love of creation. So in the mystery school teaching, she is referred to as a material master. And by that, they mean she was once one of us, an infinite soul, maybe not in a human form, but similar to us. And she figured out the mastery of the material world. And by that, this is just referring to she lived enough lives to understand the material world and the structures that take place down here. So she became an ascended master and was gifted with this planetary body. She's just bigger than us, so we are her children. And when we think about her, she has this beautiful magnetic core. And it's full of magma, it's full of rock, it's full of brimstone, it's full of this glowing golden light, right? And this golden light comes in and out as she breathes and ebbs and flows through her cycles. And we are also experiencing a lot of magnetic shifts right now with her, so she's going through a transitionary state. And what I've been teaching a lot is think of her as just like one of us, and why we're experiencing all of these huge frequency shifts with her is because she just learned something. So we don't know yet what she learned. I'd love to find out, and I've been channeling and trying to do my own work on what the message she has for us. But she just learned something, so she's ascending to a higher state. She just raised her vibration. And as the benevolent mother that she is, she's bringing a lot of us with her. So that's why we're seeing all of this crazy stuff happening with the frequency shift, with the poles maybe shifting, with just the astrology of the planet right now. So when we refer to Mother, we think about our descent into the material world. And we won't go too much into the mystery schools today, but this comes from the story of Saturn and Mother, Father Time and Mother the womb. And Mother decided to just create without limits. She's the creator. She creates life. She creates new experience. She creates light. And Saturn is the boundaries. He's the structure. He's the controller. And with that, he was getting frustrated with Mother just infinitely creating. So he decided to set boundaries on her creation. And that is where we find ourselves in the middle world, this restricted middle world. And one of the gifts of Saturn, which is also one of the curses, is desire. And desire is one of the animal forms of us. Desire comes into our animal, our meat suit body. And before, we didn't have any desire. We were just infinite love and we had infinite creation. But desire gives us the ability to love things on a physical level. So we can desire to have physical touch. We can desire to snuffle up with one of our dogs. We can have desire to make our life better by getting more money, by having a better house, by having air conditioning. So here on this world, we still have this infinite creator soul, but we have restrictions on it. So this loops me into talking about our animal brain. So our animal brain is not something attached to us. When you look at the human nervous system, which is the closest thing we can look at a soul, when you take it out of the meat suit, it looks like a plant. It looks like a tree with roots coming out, or if we're getting deep, it looks like mycelium stretching across the forest floor. And this is what we truly kind of look like in an energetic form. And this means that we are more attributed as infinite souls to plant beings, to vegetables, right? So when we're put in an animal body, we have animal instincts. And those animal instincts make us want to survive. They want to make us protect our bodies, protect our skin and our internal organs. So humans, with the infinite soul inside of us, have this uncanny ability to fear, just like all other animals. We're just like any other animal. And with that ability to fear, we can forget that we're infinite. We can forget that it's okay if we die. It is okay if we return to Mother, return to Great Spirit. And it's our animal body trying to keep us alive, to procreate, to reproduce, to build a structure of society. So what you can notice when you're in your animal brain, which is your fear state brain, and it is your reactive brain. So think when you react to things. In modern society, we don't have to be on guard all the time from predators. We don't get chased by tigers or lions anymore. We have creature comforts like our homes, like technology, like those things. So each other are the main threat. And when we can identify when we are in our animal brain, which is when we have a pressure right behind our eyes, so pause and think for a minute. When I am meeting new people, when I'm in a place with a lot of people or a new situation, I get that pressure behind my eyes. I can get a headache behind my eyes, or at least a feeling that my eyes are heavy. That is you moving into your prefrontal cortex and acting like an animal. And this is fine to be in when you do need to do this, when you need to protect your family or your body or your circumstance. But as a spiritual warrior and an infinite soul, we don't want to be in this for too long. So the way to get out of this is to go back to that Pachamama teaching of that heart at the center, that gold light. Our bodies were made by the Creator, by Mother herself, and influenced by Pachamama, the material master of our world. And that means our heart is in the center of our body, our heart chakra is in the center of our body, and it's green for a reason. But it is green with a golden core, just like the rest of our chakras. So she created our rib cage to look like a butterfly for a reason, so that we could flutter open and closed as we breathe, so that we can see out. It's slatted so that you can see out. Our skulls were created by Saturn as a restriction, as a structure, to keep us in the material world and to forget that we ascend after death and that we can ascend in this life. And with that, think about the skull. If you were a little soul living inside of a meat suit, would you want to be in this restricted place where there's no way to see out except for these eyes that are actually displaced from the skull itself? You wouldn't want to live in the brain. You would want to live somewhere that you could see out, that you could breathe and ebb and flow with yourself. And with that, there's an exercise that we can all do to help center ourselves. And this was taught by a wonderful friend of mine, an old teacher, Thomas, who is an amazing reader at Cindy Green's fairs if you ever get the chance to see him. But he taught me that you can put yourself into your heart space again when you are feeling that threat. And when you are in your heart space, you become invisible to all of the animal threats around you, because you are walking at a different plane of existence. You're not meeting them at their level, you are walking with grace. So the way to do this is to just get in a quiet place, center yourself a little through some breathing exercises, and remember, breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth when you are trying to work on a spiritual aspect of yourself, or when you're just trying to calm down. So that comes from when you breathe in through your nose, you're breathing in from the bottom, right? Our nose is face down. And we can breathe in that life that's from root, from the bottom, from Pachamama. And when we breathe out, if we're breathing out, we're just breathing out all of that energy that we just breathed in. If we breathe out through our mouth, though, we're pulling everything that we need to out of our bodies that has been resting there for too long. This can be negative emotions, this can be illness, this can be dis-ease. and we can breathe that out. So when you're trying to center yourself, and it's a good practice just to get in a normal life, breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. So you can do those breathing exercises for a little bit. You can even add some vagus nerve stuff by holding your breath at the top for 10 seconds and then holding your breath at the bottom for 10 seconds, and that will help spur that vagus nerve to kick in and get your body flowing correctly. But close your eyes and think about that consciousness in your head. And I picture it as white light just because that infinite soul is white light. But if you're working on your color, if you're working on your lighthouse from my classes, then picture that color, because that'll also help integrate that color into the rest of your body. And in that, you think about that bright light right here. When you breathe in through your nose, it swells with all of that great mother energy. And when you breathe out, you imagine and picture it going down through your throat chakra, which, remember, that's the natural filter of the body for truth, for capital T truth, and back into your chest. And you can do this as long as it takes. You will feel a physical drop and an energetic drop when you get it back into your chest. And for beginners, this can take a long time. It took me almost 20 minutes of doing it the first time, and I was a pretty advanced meditator when I was taught this. So take it easy on yourself, but until you feel that drop, and you will settle into your chest. And I'm telling you, you will really, really feel that you settle into your chest, okay? And with that, when you are in your chest, and practice it today because you'll understand what I'm coming from, you're calm all of a sudden. You don't feel like you have to survive all the time. And with that, that is where we should be as our spiritual warriors. And this is a good practice, especially when you're working on your core values and your lighthouse light, your spiritual integrity as a spiritual warrior. Because when you're here, it's a lot easier to not let things get to you. You can look at someone with that infinite love, and it takes you out of that smoky mirror effect, which comes from the smoky mirror shaman that discovered through just looking into the eyes of others that we are all one, that we share this experience just through those different lenses. So practice that today. I really wanted to teach that today as we're dealing with these cycles coming and these restrictions from Saturn retrograde in Pisces and all of this. But also, just take it easy on yourself. If you're having a panic attack, this can help. If you're just having high anxiety, if you're noticing small tics like clenching your teeth, like clencing your jaw, things like that, this can really, really help with your just day-to-day middle life. So with that, think about your infinite soul and the ways that it is threatened, because those ways that it is threatened, going back to Coyote, going back to our spiritual path, the ways we feel threatened as an animal are the ways we feel threatened karmically. And so I also challenge you not only with that heart exercise today, but also to start writing down the stories that scare you. We get reminded of things that have happened before when we get scared as animals. And when we get scared as animals, we react like animals. And so if going back to that animal state, if you have dogs, and I have 12 dogs on the property, so we have a huge pack here, and we kind of abide by a pack standard here. But if you have dogs and one of them is unstable, you will recognize it through their body language. They'll hunker down and they'll do this. They'll look straight up and they'll do that look through their eyes. And when they do that, that's exactly what we're doing when we are in that state. So Pachamama gave us the gift of this physical body, and that is her reminding us, hey, you're not supposed to be up here. Look, your consciousness is up here. Let's lower. Let's put you where I wanted you, where I can protect you right here. And this can also come through her lessons. If you have been working with Pachamama, you can feel aches in your back. That is her putting some of her weight, because you are a warrior of her, and you can be able to hold some of the weight of the world, of the suffering, of the pain, because Pachamama rules our suffering. She not only brought it to us so that we could grow, but she also holds us in it. If you've ever done psilocybin mushrooms, which I'm not advocating for them, they're illegal, but if you have ever done them, you know that feeling of the overwhelming hug that Mother Mushroom provides for you. And this is the same kind of energy that we see in a lot of other psychotropics or different hallucinogens, these plant medicines that we get from the native peoples of Peru, of the North Americas, of all over the place, right? There's this mother energy that engulfs us. And holds us, and we can call upon this energy without drugs, and that is that heart exercise. It is Pachamama, hear me, hold me, I need mother right now. Men who are listening, Pachamama is one of the greatest spiritual teachers to work with because she is the woman and the mother who is perfect. She will not disappoint you and she will not harm you. She is the one that you can look back to for that sacred feminine guidance that a lot of us don't receive because our moms are in the material middle world and it's hard for them to stay on spiritual track themselves. And we can start to go down that path of forgiveness for the female in general when you start to understand the weight that the female has. And this can come from working with mother. So that's all I have for you today. Excuse all of the farm sounds around me. When you live on a farm, it never stops. So I thank you guys for staying with me. I thank you for all of the new subscriptions that I got. I'm hoping to be at Cindy Green's Spirit Fair in Tulsa at the end of August. And I will be back in Kansas City at the end of October, beginning of November. I believe it's a Halloween fair. And anybody who wants to come see me, I'll be doing that second part of the True Self lecture, Step into Your Spiritual Self, where we just get a little heavier and deeper into that spiritual warrior mindset. I do have a Patreon that I will start uploading to this week with more advanced classes and just a bigger community. So if you want to have a bigger community and be able to talk to each other as well as me, go ahead and join my Patreon. My lowest tier is just $5. It's called the Moon Group. And it is these YouTube videos without any ads, and we can have a more structured discourse about them. Below them. And the second tier is, I believe it's $20 a month. It's called the Sun Group, and that is where my classes will be from now on. I will release some parts of my free classes at the lectures on YouTube, but if you want the full part of them, it really helps me to join my Patreon so that I can keep making these videos and keep supporting my lifestyle, going to fairs and all of those things. So if you haven't already, like and subscribe and like this video and subscribe to my channel. It really helps me. It boosts my ego, you know, and it boosts my spiritual identity just to help you guys and teach you guys what I know, because I'm constantly learning and I just need this outlet. I need to get it out too. So if you like this, comment, like it. You can go over to my Facebook and Instagram and follow me on there. I am being a lot more active on there. I'm trying to be better about it for you guys. I'm trying to really reach out and tap into this every day and be more social, because living in the woods doesn't help with that. And of course, I do restrict my, I wanted to say this, I restrict my access on my messages, because as a spiritual teacher and active person on social media, I do get a lot of spam, as I just got yesterday. So make sure you appear as a real person when you message me on there, otherwise I just ignore it. You can also email me, taythelionqueen@gmail.com. So just go ahead and go join my Facebook group, my Instagram page. You can hop on over to my website to see more of my counseling and my services. I am about to start a new flight of little baby spiritual apprentices, so if you have any specially gifted kids that you just don't know how to help, if they're mediums, if they're psychics, if they're just gifted spiritually, I hold lectures and I hold one-on-one teaching with kids to be able to help them come into their abilities and just fit into the middle world a little better. But if you need anything, as always, I'm at those places. Thank you so much for watching this. Hopefully that heart exercise helps you. I'd love to answer any questions. And go with grace today. Stay in flow with the endless waters and just give thanks to Great Spirit every single day. And as always, I thank you guys.